What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today, have you ever made the devil cry? Have you not? Maybe? Because today we're taking a look at Devil May Cry. Not the game, not the anime that came out in 1990, but the anime that came out in 2025, which is a new Netflix anime series with 8 episodes, all at roughly half an hour each, so you can watch it within 4 hours, all in one day, like I did, and we're going to be reviewing it and talking about it in this episode, in this video. So if you are excited or interested, I beg that you sit your butts down and stick around for the next 12 or so minutes so we can talk a little bit about this new anime on Netflix. And Netflix has been absolutely cooking with animes recently, with obviously Devil May Cry, with Arcane. Some people class that as an anime, some people don't. It's up to you what you class it as. They also have Cyberpunk Edgerunners, with David Martinez, absolutely fucking peak. And then they also have Dan the Dan. Like, Netflix is straight cooking with their anime library. But without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say. So, Devil May Cry has one season, came out in 2025, and has a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and you can exclusively watch it on Netflix. A professional demon hunter named Dante seeks vengeance for the death of his family. He faces off against sinister forces. So that doesn't really explain a lot, so I'm going to sit here and explain a little bit more about what happened in the series. So Dante, our main guy, our main dude, has 2 guns and a sword. He also has this very important necklace, which this demon rabbit wants to get his hands on. He killed up the Vatican and blew up said Vatican to steal one part of the necklace and also a sword. Alright, he then took those back to New York City and is now hunting down Dante, but the government is also hunting down Dante because Dante is important only because of his necklace, and he is part demon, and the demon needs him to awaken the demon side in him so then he can use his blood to put into the sword to activate the sky beam to bring hell to earth. The strike force goes in to attack the bunny, fails, everyone dies but one. We then find out that not all demons are evil, and some of them are just refugees that just want a safe place to live, so you feel bad for them, and then they get fucking massacred in a dick move by the president, and shit just goes downhill from there. The bunny rabbit reveals his backstory, and then you can see why he's doing this, and you can see his reasoning for it, and then you can also see the reasoning for why the main girl is also doing what she's doing. However, I still side more with the rabbit, because with the girl's side, her father turned herself into a fucking demon, and because the father turned himself into a demon and killed his mother, now she hates all demons. Hate your father, not demons. And then with the rabbit, he just wanted to bring the demon friends that he made into the real world to save them from the corruption, the pollution, the death in hell, and they're being punished and murdered for it. Dante had his parents die and his brother die in a fire, and yeah, he's now trying to seek revenge by killing all demons, and again, not all demons are bad, so it's a very conflict of interests here, and I quite liked it. But Dante goes demon mode to take on the rabbit, who then goes demon mode, and I was making jokes all the way through it, being like, oh, he's like the White Rabbit, it's Alice in Wonderland. Turns out it was very heavily Alice in Wonderland inspired, and my jokes were pretty much on fucking point and on fucking fleek. I am a comedian. I am here every single day with 5 uploads, so please stick around. And yeah, they kill the rabbit, they close the portal, and Dante then gets locked up and frozen. The president then marches into hell and builds a fucking base in hell, and then Dante's brother shows up and fucking massacres a load of guards and sets the demons free. That's the end of Season 1, left on a pretty great cliffhanger for Season 2. However, there was a pretty big plot point which Dante should have worked out. The blob guy, like Bob, you know, like the blue demon who can shapeshift, he can only shapeshift into living things. right? His power is he can shapeshift into a living organism that he has seen, right? So for him to be able to change into Dante's brother, he needs to be A, alive, and C, have seen Dante's brother. And Dante's like, oh, what a cheap interpretation, my brother wouldn't look like that now. I would argue that, Dante, you know how this guy's powers work, so why don't you put 2 and 2 together with your brother still being alive? It just doesn't really make sense to me, alright? That was a little bit of a plot hole which I was a little bit confused by, but the animation, fucking beautiful. The soundtrack, fucking sick. We had so many cool fucking metal songs in this, like, anime. We had so many fucking badass moments, and when the rock heavy metal, like, fucking emo music played, I was fucking loving it. It was sick. The intro, immaculate. It was so fucking good. The soundtrack, unbeatable. This is one of the best soundtracks that I have heard for an anime in a good fucking minute, not gonna lie. This soundtrack genuinely went insane. Animation, the fights were impeccable. The scene where they were falling out of the plane and the scene where they were like flying over motorbikes and shit. Again, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you'll know that they are 2 of my favorite scenes in movies. And to be animated beautifully and flawlessly, it was like fucking music to my ears, because the music was also on fucking point. And the voice acting was again fucking superb. I love Dante's voice actor, and Dante is a fucking aura farmer. He has W fucking aura. He's a comedian like myself. His fucking comedic timing was on point, and he did give me quite a few chuckles. And I don't know if that's just him coping and that's his way to deal with trauma, with fucking laughs, but it was sick as fuck. There was a little bit of a mystery with Dante's father towards the start of the season, which I didn't think they explored all too much. It just kind of dropped a law bomb being like, oh, your dad's like Sparta, the guy who like separated heaven and hell, earth and hell, sorry. So it's like, okay, cool, that's just a very casual thing for you to drop. Sparta has been like the biggest topic of like the past 4 episodes, and you just fucking law drop that he's Dante's father without any prior sort of like hinting. It's just, he's your dad. Like, the fuck? Fair enough, his dad had to be a pretty high up person in hell for him to have like this demon mode in him, but it is still weird how he got like no build up to that, and like it was a payoff to nothing. It was just like, oh, you're part demon. Cool, I could be part to any demon, but specifically Sparta, and not Sparta, like I initially thought. I thought it was the guy from ancient Greece. Apparently, so did a couple of the soldiers here as well, because they did make that correction. So, it is Sparta with a D, not Sparta with a T. Very slight difference, very subtle difference, and you probably won't notice it if you just say it casually. I am specifically pronouncing the D when I say Sparta, so then you, like, it clicks and you know who I'm talking about. Because if I just went Sparta, like, that sounds like Sparta. Like, Sparta. Like, it is, they make very similar sounds. Like, D and T make very similar sounds. So, it is very hard to hear. But the agent girl is sick as fuck, and I knew her like Nightwing and the other 3 buddies were fucking cannon fodder. Like, as soon as they came on screen and they got into their first fight, like the car fight, I knew for a fucking fact these guys were not making it out alive. I thought at least Nightwing, or the girl that looked like Nightwing, was gonna make it out alive. I thought she would like come back with vengeance later on, but no, every single one of them got murked, which I was a little disappointed by, because they had some pretty cool character designs. I did put money on the one with the hat dying first. Unfortunately, I then lost that money because he technically died third, but should have died second, because he was impaled second, but it took him a while to bleed out, so another one died before him, so he technically died third out of the 5-person squad, and that was quite far off my prediction. But again, I liked the backstory episode. It was really beautifully done because we got 2 new animation styles, and it was an entirely silent episode with just background music, so it gave you a chance to build a little bit of an emotional connection. It is harder to tell a story without words. Words make it easier to tell stories and to build that connection, so showing it with just images and giving us that really scratchy art style for the girls' childhood, and then a very cartoony, bubbly, happy art style for the bunny rabbits backstory, I thought was really cool. And there is probably some deeper meaning to why they chose these art styles, but personally I don't really know. And I'm going to be honest, when I opened that episode, I was scratching my head being like, how the fuck do these two characters correlate? Who the fuck are these two characters? And obviously there was subtle hinting at the start of the episode with the Alice in Wonderland book, you know, being related to the White Rabbit and follow the White Rabbit to this other world, to this freedom. Like white being like a color of purity and like angels and stuff, and obviously the White Rabbit being the character which guides Alice into this wonderland where her wildest imagination being. So that's why he's donned this appearance, to bring his sort of friends into the human world so then they can be safe. Honestly, I thought that was really peak character design and storytelling wise. Very beautiful, very cool. But honestly, I really enjoyed the series, and if you haven't watched it, I do recommend that you go check it out for yourself because it is superb. So I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I think it is pretty much perfect, and I genuinely cannot wait for a season 2 to come out. So other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. See you all next one. Hope you all have an excellent day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe.